Welcome, everyone, to the Merfaire, where we dive deep into the world of dressing up for fun, entertainment, and profit. I'll be your captain this evening. Some people call me Luke. Along with me is the ever-beautiful desert mermaid herself, Amanda.
Hello, everyone.
And this is our first ever podcast episode. And I thought we'd take this opportunity to tell you a little bit about ourselves, who we are, why you should care about what we have to say, and... well, we'll just tell you about us. You can decide if you should care what we have to say. Amanda, why don't you tell them, just give them a synopsis. Who are we right now? What is it that we do?
Okay, right now we are on our third year of mermaid entertainment. We do birthday parties, we do events, we do conventions. Our main focus is children's parties. We've done lots of different things already. We've done VBS even.
Yeah, we did.
We did a VBS for a whole week. Actually, we've done 2. So, we've done a lot so far within the 3 years.
So we've done 3 Comic-Cons.
Mm-hmm.
We've done several just conventions, I would call them.
Mm-hmm.
One was a smashing failure.
Boy, was that ever.
It was their first ever convention. It was our first ever convention. I would say if we were generous and included the vendors, maybe 50 people showed up all weekend.
Yeah, I've that.
It was like a trial run for us.
Yeah, and it was outside in Phoenix, downtown Phoenix, in a parking lot?
In a parking lot,
yeah,
yes.
It was awesome.
Yes. Little did we know.
Yeah. I think there was a zombie
yes.
walk or something.
There was a zombie walk around the same time.
So, that's cool.
The zombie walk was more lively than our convention.
Oh, was it ever? Okay.
But regardless of that convention, so we've done a myriad of stuff. We've done children's conventions.
Mm-hmm.
We've done parties from literally the biggest mansion I've ever seen in Phoenix.
Yeah, that was crazy.
To the majority of them are at small houses in the backyard.
And I love it. We love it.
We do. We've done, let's just say, we've done a lot of parties.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of parties. We've grown our business over the last 3 years. We basically doubled what we did each year. And that's not including the conventions that we did this year and the festivals that we did.
Yeah. We have grown just exponentially between the 3 years that we've been doing this.
But what we've also done in that time is we've really tried to reach out and get to know a lot of the other mermaids in the Phoenix area, in the Tucson area, and find out what the world's all about. And in that, we got into cosplaying and we got into a bunch of other stuff. But so normally, what we're gonna try to do on this podcast is a mix between interviewing other people who are in the mermaid business, or not even necessarily in the mermaid business, in the business of dressing up.
Yes, absolutely.
For whatever reason, we want to try to get some of the big cosplay groups. We'd like to interview some mermaids. We'd like to interview just various people that are in this world and how they got started, what they do, why they do it, all the details.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just fun to hear how people got into it and how they have developed their own style throughout the time. And I just love hearing stories. So this is going to be fun.
That's what we want to do. We want to bring you stories of those who are doing it.
Yeah.
Being that it's just the two of us, we're going to interview ourselves for this first episode.
Yes, so you guys get to know who we are a little bit.
Who we are.
Yeah.
We are probably on the older end of the mermaid performing
yes,
groups.
I would definitely say that.
So, but we have fun doing it.
Oh, man, it's awesome. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and so, so I guess let's get started. Let's start at the beginning. So, for the purposes of this podcast, I will interview Amanda.
Awesome. Let's do it.
So, Amanda, what first drew you to mermaids?
To mermaids. Wow. Okay. So this is going to be, pretty much a lot of young girls, they always love to see like the mermaids and the unicorns and watch The Little Mermaid growing up.
Anything magical.
Anything magical. Absolutely. I mean, yeah, my husband knows me. Luke is my husband, just so you guys know. And he knows me very well. So yeah, everything magical, glitter, anything. But anyway, let's get back to why mermaids. And why I like doing what I do is it's one of those like, I used to go to Disneyland and I would see all the princesses that work there thinking, oh, how awesome it would be to be one of those people. And I definitely don't have the height nor the looks, I say, for certain characters there. And so I always kind of figured it would never happen. So here comes along mermaiding, and it's like making your dreams come true. I get to do it.
You can be a princess because you're always more graceful underwater than above the water.
Oh, yeah. It's actually quite sad.
So, but there you have it. You have your own way to be your own princess that fits you.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So, you love mermaids.
Mm-hmm.
You think about them. You think about magical stuff.
Yes.
But at some point, something said, I wish that I had a tail, that I had a mermaid tail. What was the trigger that sparked that switch?
Okay, let's see. I would say I basically just kind of realized one day that I should just do this. I looked at other people that could do it and have these like fabric tails, so I just went on Amazon and ordered myself this fabric tail and decided that, hey, let me sit in it and go swimming. And
you're like, other people are mermaids.
I
could be a mermaid.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, come on. But like one of our first things together was I got this tail in the mail, and I put this on, and I'm literally sitting in our living room.
Mm-hmm. I have a picture of it.
With this blue, like
sitting there watching TV and
completely content. I mean, it was like, I had to take a picture. I had no idea he was doing it. And you can just see on my face, I'm like zoned out, watching TV, my mermaid tail, like normal.
I'm a mermaid.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it is now.
Yeah. Now, swimming in it the first time was a completely different. I put this tail on. I go outside. I'm like, okay, first swim. This is going to be so awesome. And
I'm a graceful, beautiful creature.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what I thought I was going to do. And I go in, and no idea how fast you can swim in a mermaid tail. And I take my first few kicks, and the bottom of the pool came faster than I was assuming it would. And all you hear is this huge crack, and it happened to be my nose. And I really thought it was broken. I get up, and there's blood, and I actually must have hit the cartilage or something, but I had a huge scrape going from the tip of my nose up to my forehead. And all I kept thinking was, if I break my nose the first time I go swimming in my tail, it's really embarrassing for me.
It is quite embarrassing.
Yeah.
So embarrassing.
Yeah. Yes.
Then again, I didn't put on the tail, but at one point I was like, well, let me try this flipper thing on. And I said, what is this all about? People swim with flippers.
Yeah.
Let me try this. But it was the monofin, and I thought, Amanda doesn't know what she's doing. I could swim in this tail, or not the tail, but the monofin.
Yeah.
So I put the monofin and proceeded to ram my head into the wall.
Yeah. See, that's so.
I'm like, maybe it's harder than I thought it would be.
Then think about having your legs completely together, and you're all. But honestly, though, once I did it. The first time, it's just literally magical. Like, it's amazing. Once you kind of realize, okay, wait, how fast you're going to go and how this thing swims, you're literally feels like it is floating, but almost like flying underwater. It's amazing. It's a really cool feeling to do.
Closest thing to superpowers.
Yeah, actually, it is. To me anyway, yeah.
So you got this mermaid tail, and you're wearing it, and you're swimming in it, and you're having a good time, and you're like, I need to buy a second mermaid tail. I need to buy a third mermaid tail.
Yeah.
But we had a few hiccups with our first mermaid tail?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. I had no idea what I was buying. So literally went on Amazon, bought the like cheapest fabric tail you could buy. And just so you guys know, you do get what you pay for. And I'm not knocking trying the cheaper ones first. That's
I think you should definitely try the cheaper ones first. If you've never had a mermaid tail, buy a cheap one.
But understand that that cheap one
is cheap.
And it's not going to most likely last. If you swim in it a lot, don't expect it to last more than one season, if that. The monofin, I prefer a monofin that you put your feet in separate pockets. They're like this.
As opposed to?
Another monofin where you put your feet in and there's a strap that goes around the back. Those are, I have a hard time swimming in. My feet want to constantly come out.
Yeah.
So I do recommend, if you are more familiar with swimming and are not afraid to be in a tail, that's a big thing. If you're going to be somebody that's not sure how they feel in a tail the first, or, about swimming in general,
stay in the shallow end.
Stay in the shallow end next to the side. Yeah. And definitely please don't drown. But make sure you do swim with somebody else your first time, but realize you don't want to panic.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people, that's literally one of the worst things you can do is panic when you're doing your swim in a tail, because lots of times people do have a hard time feeling that restriction in your legs. So going back to the monofin, if you feel that way, you get a quick release monofin, which is the strap. If you don't feel that way, then I do recommend the what is it, fiberglass or what is that?
Well, it was like it had two pieces to it. So there was like a fiberglass or a plexiglass.
Yeah,
maybe
like
it was
a
a plexiglass.
Yeah,
like a thin plexiglass. Mm-hmm. And that was what made the hard part of the tail. And then the foot pockets and what went around the plexiglass was like a neoprene.
I think. Yeah. See, I like those the best because you can swim in those and you basically can't kick those off.
Yeah.
Whereas the other ones you could kick off real easily. But once again, do what's comfortable for you. And definitely, if you feel it all, one of the other things, I mean, we're going to have some people on that this is what they do. They teach water safety, just to kind of help you guys understand a little bit more what to look for and feel more comfortable in the water. But what I would say, though, is do not put a mermaid tail on in the pool if you don't know how to float on your back.
Or swim.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Swimming's probably a prerequisite.
Yeah, but a big thing is you have to be able to float on your back because you are going to be in the middle of the pool at some point. You're going to have nowhere to go with this tail on, and you cannot panic. You need to float on your back. So just a little throwing that out there.
All right. So okay, now that we got the safety issues out.
Yeah.
So you got this mermaid tail. You're swimming around. We've bought several.
They're like potato chips. Can't have just one.
And then comes the conversation. Hey, I think I should get paid for this. Would you say there was like one defining thing, or I mean, lots of people probably look at things online, say, "Oh, I'd love to have that. I'd love to do that." Was there something that really pushed you over the edge to actually do it?
Yeah, actually, there was a okay, so what 4 years ago now, because I've been doing mermaiding for 3
I would say it's probably 5 years
about
ago.
5 years ago. Okay, so about 5 years ago, I started having this pain that would go from my lower back into my quads. And it started kind of in a small, like, increments that became more and more and more. And it had gotten to the point where it was all the time. It was this chronic pain. So I started going to the doctors. And when they would ask me what it was, I would say, well, what this pain is, I say, well, it's a pain that I feel, like this cramp, this ache that I feel in my bones, not like in a muscle. This is like deep in a bone. And
this is something that kind of crept up over time too. I think
yes,
we were working out, and at first we thought it was like
we were
workout
CrossFitting.
injury.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just kind of didn't get any better.
No, and as a matter of fact, it kept getting worse. And I'm huge into yoga, and my yoga practice was almost making things worse as well, which never was ever going to be should be the case. That kind of things. I'm very cautious. Well, anyway, so I started going to the doctor. They would ask me what this is. I tell them what I'm feeling, and at this point in my life, it's now been about a year of this, and like I said, it's getting more intense. And
we had seen
after
so many. We have one of those health plans that are high. What do they call them?
High deductible.
High deductible.
Mm-hmm.
We met our deductible that year.
Oh heavens, yeah. And then I had 7 MRIs, an EMG, 9 rounds of blood work. I saw a spinal specialist of some sort.
And there was a time where we had a 2-story house at that point, and there was a big loft room upstairs, and there was a time for probably several months where most of your life revolved around this chair that you slept in, and
I couldn't sleep though. Remember, I mean, it was just I had gotten into a after so long of chronic pain, Luke literally had to carry me up and down the stairs. I would fall out of the truck. We homeschool our kids, and I couldn't homeschool anymore, so he had to do that, take care of me, take care of his job. It was, and so after a while, chronic pain and not having somebody be able to give you an answer starts to wear on you, I would say, mentally and physically, big time. So
when there was the one thing that I would say about that time is it was certainly a difficult time. Yeah. But I actually have a few good memories from that time. And really that was because I work from home. So I had moved my office up into the loft, and I had brought a cot that we had into the loft. And so basically it would just be us in the loft, and the kids would be in there, and we'd do their homeschool, but I would work there, and in the evenings I'd sit there on the cot, and you were in the chair, and we watch this show on Netflix. Several shows on Netflix.
Sometimes I'd have episodes.
Yeah, just try to keep her mind off of it and different stuff. But yeah, I mean, as hard as that time was, there's still some.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was definitely so. Well, let me finish that. Well, I would definitely say that it coming on the other end, you are 100% grateful for every day that you have, every day that you can get out of bed and not feel pain. I'm sorry, is pretty amazing. Is a gift, guys. But anyway, so going back to what actually ended up happening, is we ended up in the ER one night, and Luke works for a doctor. Thank goodness, and
he actually happened to be in the hospital that night.
Yeah. And so this was the ER, and they're like, said, honey, we don't know what to do for you. We've given you all the tests that we can. So I had gotten to a point where I just didn't want to be alive anymore, I guess you could say. It was a very intense, hard time. So not that I would hurt myself or anything, but it was just that point where you don't know what else to do. Nobody can help you in that respect. So when you say something like that in front of a doctor at ER, they cannot release you. It's considered a red flag. So this is going to work out, I'm telling you. And, so my husband works for the doctor. He contacts him, who happened to be on that night, and his boss is amazing and very understanding and knows that this is a very trying time for us. And he is able to get me in touch with a specialist who, within 20 minutes, he was able to tell me what the problem was. this is after 2 years now of this constant. All I can say was it was almost agony, and so anyway, so within 20 minutes he's able to tell me what's wrong, and I have a, how would you best describe this?
Well, the way he told us is you have like, and I'm probably getting some of this wrong, but you have like 3 sets of nervous systems in your body that handle different things. And one of those, when you feel pain, it's nerve endings in your skin that send a signal to your brain. And so essentially what was happening is what had started, I think it had all started with an actual injury, but through the process, her nerve endings were misfiring and sending pain signals, even though like there was no actual physical thing happening to the legs. Her nerve endings were misfiring and sending these pain signals. And when you stack that on top of like so much time not knowing and not being able to be told what it was, then you get into a cycle of, anxiety of, oh, here it comes.
Mm-hmm.
And so that just like reinforced, and anybody who's dealt with anxiety in the past knows that sometimes thinking about it
Mm-hmm.
can bring on a panic attack or whatever else. It's like, and so you had these nerve endings misfiring, and then you had this cycle of anxiety and depression from it happening so long. And what he said is, he said they don't completely understand how the brain works. I mean, specialists, and they study the brain.
Mm-hmm.
And what he said was, we still truly don't completely understand how it works. But he said, think of it like this way. As the problem got worse, your nerves built a pathway
Mm-hmm.
to continue to send these signals. And so what he ended up giving her was this medication that slowed the nerve
Mm-hmm.
signals down.
Yeah, it's also considered an anti-seizure medication. So,
And we were a little concerned when he first prescribed it to us, because
Yeah.
he prescribed it, and then we looked it up online, and it was like antipsychotic medication
Yeah,
or
no,
something.
that's
And
what
we
you
were
were
like, okay,
Yeah.
I don't.
yeah.
Maybe we misexplained what's
Yeah, what's
happening
happening.
here. We're
Not that there's any reason for nothing wrong for taking that whatsoever.
But what
obviously.
we found out obviously was that at a really high dosage, that's what they use it for. At a lower dosage,
Mm-hmm.
it's an anti-seizure medication, and at
Yeah.
an even lower dosage, which is what he gave us, is it slows your nerve signals down
Mm-hmm.
enough that, and he gave us 2 initially. One that worked at nighttime, which really helped her sleep. And I
Mhm.
remember the first time he gave you that medicine and you took it, and it was like the first time you had slept in
I don't even know. Like, it was
a long time.
probably almost a year that I actually slept
Yeah.
more than an hour or so, because this would wake me up in the middle of the night in pain. Like, it's anyway. So I remember at one point thinking I was crazy, and I remember asking him, did I make this happen? And he said absolutely no. He told me, because I literally thought I was losing my mind, and he said, no, your brain is literally receiving pain messages where there is no pain. Because, that's how you're actually going to experience pain. So, yeah, it ended up, to finish all that, to bring it back around, I'm completely grateful for every day that I get to have. That honestly was the catalyst for making me decide that I want to be a mermaid. So I get this tail because I mean, after something like that, can you make your dreams come true?
Second chance.
Yeah, exactly. A second chance. So I'm going to do it. If I want to do it, I'm going to do it. So I get this tail. I love it. And I just decide, hey, you know what? I want to see if I can do this for like a job maybe.
So what makes, so you decide to do it. Was there a specific thing that made it change from I like swimming in this to I would like to not necessarily make a living doing it, but I'd like to do this as a job?
Yeah, there was this moment that I do remember being like, I really want to do this. I think as not necessarily a full-time job, but yeah, like can I actually do this? Like, type of job. And so my first one was actually, this was just like a test. Like, hey, let's just see if I can even do this. Was a homeschool group that I know, and they have these like get-togethers on Thursdays. And I remember asking them like, hey, I have this tail and I'm thinking about doing this mermaiding thing. And can I come out to one of you guys' pool just to see how it goes? And they were like, heck yeah, I want you to come out. So that was my first one. I come out, I'm very nervous, and I'm putting on this tail around the corner and putting it on. And these kids come out, and from the moment they came out, it was like a switch and everything changes. Like I was literally a mermaid. Like, I'm there for them. You can even ask Luke, my voice changes completely. My mannerisms change completely. And it did from that first moment to every single time now that I do a party or appearance. So that is how I got started into this whole mermaiding world.
And I think we did, I don't know, including one or two free ones. I think we ended up doing like 8 parties that first year.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Just with not knowing what we were doing with a fabric tail.
Yeah.
And just like, well, let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah. And Luke is, my husband he has always been my most supportive person, even if he thought it was crazy. He knows me though well enough that I'm not the normal fish out there. So he's very supportive of dreams. And so he knew this was something I really wanted to do, especially coming off of what previously had happened. So, so he's an amazing support for me. But yeah, we
learned over time.
Yep. Yeah.
I think we
work so well. Everybody that says like we work well together. Don't you think? Yeah.
And this last party that we went to, somebody was like, because I was helping her put on her tail.
No, that's an event. This was children's play.
Yeah,
this was the children's
play. And somebody else who was there, they were like, is he touching her inappropriately? And I was like, no, they're married.
Yeah.
I was, okay.
Oh, yeah, because she came over afterwards, and she's like, yeah, I had to ask this girl. And she's like, no, that's her husband. And she was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that was so funny. Yeah.
But we did parties.
Mm-hmm.
We thought, hey, this is working.
Yeah.
Let's take it a little more seriously. We invested in a silicone tail, and we invested in some props.
That was the second year that we did.
The second year we did put a website up. And
yeah.
I don't know did we have a website the first year? I don't think we did.
No, we didn't. This was all Facebook and word of mouth, friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Just people we knew or people that knew people that we knew.
Yeah.
And it was, we did well the first year, and we said, hey, let's make a go at this and see what happens. Yeah. And
so I think the second year we did, I don't know how many, but we definitely doubled.
Yeah.
And then
I think we pretty much doubled each year.
Yeah. And so this year was extremely busy.
Yeah.
And you figure the season runs from April to the end of September.
It's a lot of parties to pack in.
Yeah.
Sometime this year there were several times where we were doing 2 parties in a day.
Yeah, that was exhausting.
And it was tiring.
Especially because you have to be on. Like,
Yeah.
you are not, you can't slack.
No.
I mean, these people are, basically paying you to bring magic to your child's
And you want
party
to have
or whatever.
You want
Yeah.
the party to be good,
Yeah,
and you don't want to
yeah.
be the cause of a bad party.
No, never. Because everything people is recommendations or word of mouth or
And that's been all our business.
Oh, absolutely.
All word of mouth.
Yeah.
Although, we got some business off of Gig Salad, and we put our website up, and people found us through the website, and through Facebook, and through Instagram, and
but it did. We've had a ton of
a lot of word of mouth.
A lot of word of mouth that you just you use what you have. Like if you use your circle of friends and
and I really feel like there's still a lot of untapped potential, because how many parties did we go to where people would say, I didn't even know this was a thing?
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, it was in the conventions.
Conventions.
That was huge. You're like, wait, you do what?
Yeah.
And you're like, yeah, we do birthday parties, and I swim with you, or we do land parties where you can actually have, where we can be there and we do things together, and which we can do like a few episodes, I think, of like social media, how we were able to.
We'll talk about how to build the business.
Yeah.
I've been doing businesses on and off most of my life. I started my first job, if you want to call it that, was I think I was in junior high, and I would go to the mall, and this is a long time ago, but I would go to the mall, and for anybody who remembers this, they used to have somebody walking around carrying just this massive thing of Mylar balloons, and they would sell Mylar balloons in the mall, and sometimes kids would let go of those balloons, and the mall ceiling was really high, and when those Mylar balloons floated away, they were gone. So what I would do is I would get a cheap balloon with helium for like 25 cents, and I'd tie a long string onto it, and I'd put tape on the top of the balloon, and I'd run the balloon up to the ceiling, stick it to the Mylar balloon, pull it back down, and the company that actually sold the Mylar balloons that would walk around and sell them in the mall would actually buy that balloon back from me.
It's genius.
Because it was cheaper for them to buy it back from me than it was to go and buy another balloon.
Yeah.
So
wow. Yeah. Very. Yeah.
So there's always ways to make money.
Yep.
Even if you're a poor kid out there, there's still ways to make money.
Yeah, exactly. Just use your imagination, right?
Yeah.
Just keep going. Don't stop.
So that's kind of what we wanted to do with this podcast. We want to tell stories of what other people are doing, have a lot of different people on the show, and mermaids, cosplayers, people in the business, and all the stuff that goes along with it. Yeah.
I just want to I literally just love talking to people and hearing their stories, and I just really want to empower others to do it, to get out there and basically, if they dream it, do it,
Yeah.
So, cool.
So aside from the podcast, what does, in your eyes, what is the future for Amanda the Desert Mermaid?
Well, we actually do have a book, Amanda the Desert Mermaid.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah. And all the stuff that we did, we were like, let's write a kid's book.
Yeah, of course. Why
let's
not?
just do it. So we got an artist.
Yeah.
We wrote the book. We paid somebody to do watercolor paintings for our book.
Yep.
And we published it, and it's on Amazon. You can buy it,
Yeah.
Amanda the Desert Mermaid.
Yeah.
And it's based, because when we first started, we would read Rainbow Fish.
Yes, Rainbow Fish.
And
Classic.
after the first year, we were like, we could do better.
Well, it depends, because Rainbow Fish, it's an awesome story, but it can be a little bit too short or too... I'm not going to say childish, because I love it and I'm an adult, but
it's got a certain age target.
Limit. Yeah. Target. Perfect. That's the way you should say it. And it was, for some kids, it was just too they wouldn't. It was
Too
like,
little.
Yeah, they couldn't. They were
Too
like,
simple.
what am I doing here? I know this,
And so since we had gone with the name Amanda the Desert Mermaid, we wrote a book about how she became known as the Desert Mermaid and how the Mermaid Kingdom was in danger, and she goes to the desert and has to save the Mermaid Kingdom and meets some animal friends along the way.
Yeah.
So
yeah, it's a
we
real.
did all that.
Yeah.
was-
I mean, it's one of those.
It's been an adventure.
Oh boy, we done it though, and we can definitely say that we have done it. I mean, that's what I told him. I was like, you know what? Even if this book doesn't do anything, we have a piece of us that's now out there.
Who else wrote a book?
Yeah, well, you know what I mean. I mean, really, it's like it's floating out there now that there's a piece of us.
And people
after
buy
we're
it.
yeah.
Surprisingly, people buy our book.
I know. Well, he wrote it, and it's actually a really good story. It's a really cute story. So,
and we've talked about other stuff, making apps or making games, or
Yeah.
who knows. Honestly, who knows where the future goes for us?
that's
'Cause
exactly kind of where I was.
it pops into our mind, and
Let's try
if it's at least halfway feasible,
Yeah, we're gonna try it.
like a podcast.
Yeah.
Hey, let's start a podcast.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
I hope somebody listens to us at some
hopefully,
point.
hopefully somebody's listening to this. If not,
If
then,
you are awesome, thank you so much.
and if not, it was a learning experience
Yeah,
for us. We got some cool microphones
Yeah,
and
some headphone things. We get to talk to some cool people.
got to talk to some cool people. And if nobody listens, then we still got to hear some stories.
Yeah, we got to talk to each other.
Yeah.
Well, we also do though. We also do have we have a store, Desert Mermaid store.
Desert Mermaid store. Yeah. So we got some clothes that we sell. We got the book that we sell.
Yeah, we have this Desert Mermaid tank top that we actually had somebody do the design for this like mermaid silhouette. She's holding this like cactus, and that one.
That's our best selling T-shirt.
I'm really surprised that was like. I mean, people actually like that one a lot, and I was kind of what because when you're making something, you don't always know. Like
Yeah. Well, we've certainly had some failures.
Oh, have we ever?
Certainly. In fact, we still have one specific style of shirt that we had made last summer, and we still have some shirts left over. So if you want to buy one of those shirts, we'll gladly sell you one of those shirts.
Yes, that would be so cool. But what's funny though about that was we make this design. Can we just tell them what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, it's this design. It's one woman, right? Okay, so it's like Wonder Woman, one mer woman, right? And it's.
And we took it to Comic-Con.
Yeah,
we
nobody.
took it to 2 Comic-Cons.
Literally, no. I would say probably 80% of those people were like, "I don't get it." Are you like, okay? What? I'm sorry.
It's one mer woman.
No, well, yeah.
What's not to get?
I know. I mean, look at her. She's got like she's got a lasso, but it's like seaweed. And
we spent all this time on the design
did,
and making her a mermaid
but lo and behold, though, remember like. I get this ad that pops up on my Instagram feed.
Somebody ripped off our design.
I know. It was like, I'm like, I don't know if I should feel like, what?
Upset
or like, wow, that was a really cool compliment. Like, I guess we really did make something. Like, like for somebody to feel like they needed to put this out there. It was kind of like, it was an interesting,
Maybe they made some money on it.
Well, who knows?
We
maybe.
certainly didn't make any money on that one.
But good for you out there if you did.
Yeah. But one future thing that we are doing is we are planning the first festival.
Yeah, mermaid.
Mermaid. Not necessarily strictly mermaid, but we're calling it the Merfaire. And it's going to be a festival we're going to put on here in Phoenix
at like a pool.
So we'll have like classes. So it'll be like how to run a mermaid business, how to start a mermaid business, how to advertise yourself. But we also want to get some artistic classes. So like how to repair a silicone tail, how to find a silicone tail,
what's the best
how
type
to
of
make
fabric
props.
tail?
Yeah, what's the best kind of fabric to use? Maybe we'll even do like making a seashell top. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, the other thing though too, I really want to include is not just mermaids. I want it to be like fairies at some point.
Yeah, we want to include everyone.
Yeah, and like cosplay type stuff. I mean, you never know. Everybody says like usually the first year, be lucky if you get 50 people
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we're hoping.
We're gonna aim small our first year and see what happens with it. I mean,
why not?
what can happen?
Right.
What can happen?
But we want to have between me and you, we'll see.
Yeah, but we got some other people who are involved with it and who've been in the convention scene for a little bit. So we went through that disastrous convention. We had nothing to do with that, but we've seen what can happen. So it's like people say that you should never ride on a motorcycle with somebody who's never crashed a motorcycle.
Yeah, because
once you crash a motorcycle, you have an extra level of healthy fear and respect for what could happen. We've gone through the convention crash or seen what can happen. So we have a healthy respect for what a convention should be and the disaster that it could be.
It could be, absolutely.
But March 2019 here in Phoenix, Arizona.
That's our date. We're looking at.
You can find details coming up on merfaire.com, merfaire.com. Hopefully you know how to spell that if you found the podcast.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
So who knows where the future goes?
Yeah, and so if you like us, we would love it if you would share us on any like Facebook or whatever. I don't know how you guys.
Whatever your platform of choice is.
Yeah, that would be awesome. If you are. If you are perhaps looking to book Amanda the Desert Mermaid, we do have a Facebook page, Amanda the Desert Mermaid. This is if you're obviously in the Phoenix area.
Or if you want to fly us somewhere to have a party.
Hawaii would be awesome.
Yeah, if you want to fly us to Hawaii for a party.
Florida's cool. Maybe California.
Wherever, you know.
Yeah. That would be really cool. We could stop at Disneyland on the way. Yeah, have a good time.
Maybe you're from Europe. You want to bring us to Europe for something.
That would be legit. Wouldn't that be
Paris.
awesome?
We'll go to Paris. We'll do a party. We'll go to Disneyland.
Paris, Disneyland. That would be
any of our Paris listeners.
Yeah.
Surely
you would want us to
invite us to Paris.
Come to Paris. Where was I? Thanks.
If you want to book us.
Yes, if you want to book us. Let's get back to that. It's under Facebook, Amanda the Desert Mermaid. We also have a website, thedesertmermaid.com. I am on Instagram, Amanda the Desert Mermaid, and merfaire.com. And I think...
And our merchandise store.
Oh, yes, of course. Our merchandise store is desertmermaidstore.com as well. So there's quite a few ways to get a hold of us.
Look us up. Send us a question. You want us to talk about something. You got somebody you want us to interview.
Yeah, that would be great.
Let us know. We already have actually several interviews already done, and we already have several shows done. So we're this train's already moving.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I can't wait for you guys to listen to the next one and hear our friend. Like we have some more mermaid friends that are coming on. So that'll be great. Awesome.
So thanks for listening, everybody. Hope you come back next week. Every Monday we'll have a podcast out. You can find us on iTunes or Google Play or Pocket Cast or wherever you find your podcasts. Hopefully we're there.
Yeah.
So
sweet.
And we'll see you next week.
Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.